When you're setting up a new class in ExamView Test Manager, you have a couple of options. One option is to manually type in student name and other information into the class roster. Another option that you have is to import this same information from a student information system or other source into your Test Manager file. That is what we'll be doing today in this tutorial. Once you have exported your class information from your student information system, you will find it on your desktop or in My Documents, wherever you had chosen to save it. To open it, just go to Microsoft Excel, and then what you will need to do is go to either File Open or just Open, and navigate to where you had saved it. In my case, it's on the desktop. If you don't see it here, go down to File Type and change it from Excel files to All Files. And then you should see it appear. And you can click on My Class Roster or your student name, whatever you named it. And you will see your information down in this box. You'll want to keep it as a delimited file and click Next. And what you're looking for is these names and information to be in separate fields. If you are not seeing it that way, you're seeing it more like this, just click on one of the delimiter options until you get it so that the last name, first name, and student ID number are in separate fields. Then push Next. And you now have it the way you need it, and you can push Finish. It now appears in Microsoft Excel. You have your last name field column, your first name, and your student information ID number. You can also, at this point, if you'd like, add additional information that you would like to import, such as their gender, their class period that they attend, their grade level, or anything else that you feel will be helpful once you have it into Test Manager. The more field options you have, the more you're going to be able to segregate your data when you get to the reporting options. So quickly, I'm going to just put in the student gender. And this can take just a couple of minutes. But once you have this done, then it will be so much easier to work with your data in the Test Manager program itself. If I wanted to add what class period or what grade level they're in, I would just keep filling columns until I had that done. Once I'm finished, I would go to File and Save As, and we want to save it as a CSV file. So I'm going to go to my type options for different file types, and I'm going to go down until I find CSV, which is a comma delimited file. Click on that. If I need to rename my file, I will, and then just push Save. I'm going to ask you if you want to keep this workbook in this format. You can say yes, and then just close this folder. You don't need to make additional changes, so say no because you've already changed it. And now on your desktop, or in My Documents, if you saved it there, you're going to see an X with an A on the paper, which shows a CSV format. And we are ready now to make our import. Okay, once you have saved your class roster in CSV format, then you'll want to go to Test Manager and open that. We'll be creating a new class. Start a new class. Type in your class name. and any other information that you would need to have in there to identify that, and click OK. You notice there's no class names here, so we're going to go to File, and we're going to go down to Import, Class Roster from Text. We're going to go to our desktop, and we're going to look for that CSV formatted file that we saved, and find it here, click on it, push Open, and we're going to start a new import definition profile. We don't need to do anything here, so we're just going to push OK. You see your student names up here. If you have a header row that has a title on it, then you would start your import row at row 2 where student names start. In this case, I don't, so we're going to start at student 1. We do want it to have separate fields for the first name and last name, so we have that selected, and we will just push Next. At this point, I have to help the program know which field goes with their file names. So Grayson would be a last name, so I'm going to drop it in the last name field line. Michael would be a first name. I'm going to put it in the first name box. I have my student ID number that goes here, and then I have a student gender identifier, so that's going to go next to gender. Once again, you have all of these options that you could put in on your class roster when you're setting up your CSV format, and if you were using class period, you could put those down in custom fields. So I have everything completed, so I'm going to push Next. It is giving me a mapping request because it's not understanding something that I put in for gender. So I'm going to click on Edit Mapping, and it wants to know, I have F and M to identify male and female, and it wants to know which one goes with the way they have titled it. So we're going to push M for male, and I'm going to type in F for female. There's no ignored entries, but sometimes that's the case if you have a title in this area over here. You would have to put that there. Then I would just click OK. It shows me that my gender mapping issue has been resolved, and I can push Finish. I do not need to save this import definition profile. There's hardly ever a need for it, so you don't need to save it. And it shows me that I've added 20 students. All of their information is there. If I double click on a student, I can see their information here. I can push more, and at any time I can add more information about this student. If I wanted to go in now and add in what class period, I could pick the custom field that I wanted it in and add it now. And I can scroll through my students by just clicking Next and making the changes. When I'm done, I just push Done, and I have my class ready to be set up and ready for its first assignment.